The council, of course, has responsibility for supporting businesses during this pandemic. How do you think we're doing so far?
Well, I think, as you're aware, Graham, this council committed lots of funds as quickly as possible via our highly experienced regeneration team under the leadership of Mark Jones to help local businesses. We were certainly in the top 10 nationally at giving out those business grants to local businesses, and we did so in an efficient and effective way. But I think equally, although there was not a lot of discretion with those national schemes, where there was discretion, we put a Hull touch to it. So, for example, we used some of our discretionary money for some of the freelancers, the entrepreneurs, the innovators, effectively, and the artists, to ensure that they who'd missed out on all that other government scheme funding were able to be picked up by ours. And I know that we weren't talking large sums of money, but as someone said to me, it certainly enabled them to pay their rent. It kept them in the game. And I think that is, in a sense, what authorities should do, which was use what flexibility they've got to support their entrepreneurs and their innovators.
As a youth enterprise advisor, I suppose I'm saying, I'm concerned about young entrepreneurs that are excluded, and most of those that we deal with have been. What would your message be to them?
You're right. I think a lot of that government funding bypass young people, and that is a concern, because make no bones about it, it's young people that have been hardest hit by this pandemic, in my view, because they are the people, in a sense, that whether they would have started apprenticeships, whether they would have gone on to college or university. The world has changed, either by online learning or by some of those options not being available. So it is good that our youth enterprise team, and working with the John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank, has been able to step in. And that's why I've authorised certainly £20,000 to be given to the Youth Enterprise Bank to support excluded young entrepreneurs. And we know that will obviously bring in another the 70,000 they've raised to allow for an emergency business grant for young people. Because what we know is there's a crisis, and what we need to do is do our best to alleviate those issues and not add to them. Because there's lots of excluded young people in this country, and we need to make sure that in Hull we do our bit to ensure that ours don't disproportionately suffer. And I think in terms of, we need to also ensure that those professionals have access to mental health support. We know that there will be a mental health emergency after the pandemic, and we do also know that disproportionately affects young people as well. I'm the council's Transport for the North representative, and I do sit on that body along with Steve Rotherham and Andy Burnham, who are two very important mayors for the region of the North, and I'm very pleased that they've joined in offering their support, and Sadiq Khan, who obviously is the Mayor of London, and doing a very good job there. And we've got support from over 250 MPs from all political parties, because they understand that this is not a political issue, but one of basic parity. And we need to make sure that, in a sense, the young people don't have their future snatched away today, or perhaps that's overstating it, or don't have their ambitions blunted and put on hold, and that we, in a sense, are there to support them, because the good times will come back, and we've got to make sure that the young people in Hull and the entrepreneurs of Hull are best placed to, in a sense, be able to bounce back, because we will need them to bounce back to, in a sense, fuel the recovery of cities like ours.